talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money.
Hey.
Let's talk money.
Yeah.
Let's talk money. Let's talk money.
Yeah.
Let's
Check.
talk money. Let's
Look.
talk money.
Paper chasing, racing to $1 million. Why you out here faking for 1 million followers? Hit the liquor store, baby, refill the bottle. So we're getting dough from a Brazilian model. That's me. Can't copy my steps, baby. I'm hard to follow. Lost City of Gold, Dallas, El Dorado. 4 or 5 packs, we gon' mix and match it. Vacuum to the one, then we send the package. Alright, incentivize. How my inner thoughts turn to an enterprise. Easy to enter her inner thighs. Boy, she hypnotized. Sadly mistaken, I've been a vibe. Plus I'm monetized. 50 to 20, 10 to the 5s. Yeah, I need a 9. Gunning for type of shit that ain't never been done before. Yeah, my niggas humble, but we ain't busted your bubble though. If the conversation is paper, then pippin', let me know. Got 2 P's left and they getting dressed and about to go.
Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money.
Yeah.
Let's talk money.
Q is a deal.
Let's talk money.
Run the game. Gold medal game.
Let's talk money.
Olympic shit.
Let's talk money. Let's talk money.
Stacking guap, I'm running your weed man house. Jackpot, understand everything I'm saying. Go like Kakarot. The young nigga done ran the streets and ran the game, now ran his mouth. Ask him who the king like Arthur, they gon' say Camelot. And I don't need no other body. Get the product, make a profit. Get that cash cams, a cash cow, that's what they utter about me. Feel like Black Sam, how I got hustle, keep my brothers by me. Yes, ma'am, the only thing I'll tell my mommy. 2 clap like Bravo, shades black as Johnny. Cage on the quest to get paid, you can ask about me. Stuck in artist ways, draw the pistol to erase somebody. Cops that had to trace your body. Money, moolah, mozzarella, only way to make it out you. If you want it, come get it. It's 2-0, but I let you get the cutie for $750, cause you my bro. 28 and you can get a whole P, and that's for the low. Spend your money, hit the dough, and don't call till you need some more on the real.
Let's talk money. 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 Let's talk money.
Yeah. Welcome to the Saturday edition. We call this Space Age African Saturday School. What's up? Wake up, wake up, wake up. What's going on, Anthony? How you doing today?
Oh, I'm good, Miss Juju. How you feeling on this wonderful Saturday morning?
Oh, I'm feeling lovely. Thank you for asking. Yeah, you got a few words before we get started?
Yeah, I just
Then
want
get right into it. Go ahead.
I just want to thank the people, most definitely for tuning in, the support, all the support that they show, all the love they show, the cash apps. Hey, we appreciate all that, but most of all, I appreciate you, Miss Juju.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you um, for all you do, and the way you drive me, because it's not a secret. I feed off of your energy. You know what I'm saying? Your work with the graphics, the way you've just set this show off. The information is great, but the information we know can put you to sleep at times. So your visuals, just the hard work you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that.
Dang. You ain't finna make me cry in front of these people. as gangsta as I am, God.
Well, nah, I ain't trying to do that, but I do want to say thank you because
You're
you,
very
you,
welcome.
you, like I say, you set it off. You are that spark plug for me,
It's
and
my pleasure. Chick-fil-A
just want to
style.
say thank you, man.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Um,
And big ups to the God Killer.
Big
You
ups to
know,
the God Killer. I think
he.
that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just want to say, with him, he gave us the opportunity and the platform to do this on. So big ups, big ups to him and all the moderators. You know, thank
Facts.
everybody.
Yes, we love
Okay, you got it.
everybody. Yeah, and I just want to say the sentiment is mutual. You know, taking on the task of uh, spreading scientific literacy on a subject like astrophysics. As a learner, like I've never been scared of anything. Like, yeah, I probably have. I ain't gonna lie, but still, I'm usually one to try out anything, and I don't want to fail. But I knew that you were an excellent teacher and tutor, so that gave me confidence to go ahead and press on. And I mean, I just want to thank you for the growth that I've seen in myself on the subject matter. Though I have a long way to go. This has been quite fun. I've gained lots of new skills. Um, that you wouldn't imagine just by I guess content creating for PseudoKillas that I think is pretty amazing. I'm grateful for. So beyond all the mushy stuff, what's going on out there? Peace to the chat, and y'all know what time it is. What's today? What's this is? This is Space Age African Saturday School. So it's time for roll call, everybody. Roll call. Yeah, I might have to get a little intro with that. So, first and foremost, shout out to James Modesti. I just don't know why you're such a angry little old man, but you gotta stop coming in here with the BS. We not with that. I will tell you now. I don't
Yeah,
know
he
what
a
it is
mess.
you gotta do. You gotta take a vacation. You need to find your girlfriend, something. Don't do it to us, okay? Because when we do it back, you're not gonna like it. I'm telling you. All right.
It might
Um,
need to take him a trip to Egypt, huh?
Something. But we're gonna put you in school suspension, so you get a 30-minute timeout, okay? Yeah, but shout out to role playing, y'all. It's fun. Shout out to Valisa, the best moderator in the game. We got Taj in the building. What up, Taj? Go ahead and tell the rest of them people to wake up, wake up, wake up. We got Sawa in the building. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. A shout out to my fellow lady killer, Miss Tiffany. Oh my God. Whew, I think that sister so much. Um, Also,
Most
thank
definitely.
you
Most
and
definitely.
shout out to what you say, Anthony, about Miss Tiffany. Go ahead, let the people
No,
hear it.
I was just agreeing with you how much we appreciate her.
Is that
And she's missed when she's not there, just like you.
yeah, boy?
Just keeping it 100.
Yeah, the compliance officer left and the mob boss had to step in.
Yep. So
Yeah,
big ups to Miss Tiffany. Big ups to
yeah.
Miss Tiffany.
Kung Fu Hebrew, thank you for last night. That was an awesome conversation. Thank you for joining us. Got Jody Breeze in the building. We got Raymond in the building, always a constant supporter. What up, Nubia Muhammad? Hey, Sheffrin. um,
Hmm.
you should join us one day on the panel. You know what I'm saying? Hit the link. Don't be scared. And by the way, as we are evolving all of the astrophysics content type shows, we want to make them more engaging because I feel like they'll be more fun. So I'm always going to drop the link. Please don't feel free to come up and join us, you know what I'm saying, on the stage, right? And let's get in and ask some questions. Where am I? Oh, shout out to Herbert Goss. Thank you for coming this morning. Roll call. We got Zay Montego in the building. Hey, Zay. Mr. Bitterman, one more time. God killer sleep, y'all. Taking a nap. And who else? I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I do apologize. What up, Kent Logan, PseudoKillas official? That's kicked off low. Yo, I'm waiting on them. I need some beats, please. Please, pretty please. I'm gonna continue to beg until I get them. But that's roll call. So let's get right into it. Today's I feel like Saturday school is not just gonna be for, like, you know, extended version of our Galaxy Beyond, just to let you know. Saturday school is just what it is. It's gonna be Saturday school, dealing with scientific literacy and basically any subject, you know, in science that PseudoKillas chooses to deal with and showcase at this space and time, just to let you know. So welcome to Saturday school. And also, maybe I should go ahead and kick load this for you, but we also got this. That was 28 seconds, kick low, but we got Sunday school too. We got SpaceAgeAfrican Saturday School and PseudoKillas Sunday School. So Sunday school, we're gonna be again extending the brain show. We're upgrading a little bit in some other subjects. Next Sunday, we are preparing a show for you to deal with how postpartum affects the brain, and that should be quite interesting. So yeah, y'all prepare for that, because that's gonna be a deep subject, but it's something a lot of the PseudoKillers were interested, particularly the men, because of their partners, and I think that shows compassion to want to understand, you know, certain things better. So, you know, I mean, so the relationship can get better, so we can, you know, try to attempt to salvage, you know, the Black family and eliminate some of the problems we're dealing with, even the ones we can't control, like postpartum, because that is you know, a chemical imbalance that a person can't necessarily control. So we're going to get into that next Sunday. So make sure you join us for that in Sunday school and other topics. I think in the future we're still going to be, well, I know that I have an interest in bringing an expert, a professional in the field, dealing with soft parenting skills. So we're also going to be bringing that to you all soon. But we got 20 in the class today, and let me just go ahead and get y'all the first image so we can get Sunday school started. And
Saturday
if you
school, Miss Juju. We don't want them to think they at
remember
church.
Saturday school, you know I'm gonna mess them up. You know that's right. You gonna have to help me. Yeah, I'm gonna mess them up. Saturday school done.
I don't want them waiting on the first scripture. You
Man, nah. You know, our Sunday school ain't gonna be reading no scriptures. We'll be reading out of the book. It just won't be the Bible. Okay.
not
Um,
that book, huh?
yeah, no, they're not the good book. We're not gonna be reading out the good book,
Mm.
okay?
Already funny.
We got Kung Fu Hebrew for that. So those who are a Christian or religion, check out his show, Kung Fu Hebrew. I checked it out last night. I joined the panel for a little while, and we actually had a really good discussion. So it doesn't have to be a divide or separation, you know, amongst people because of their personal beliefs at all. Hopefully y'all can see that. This was let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. This was actually the thumbnail, and this is a digital process photo of what we know as the Methuselah star. And Of course, I'm gonna give my little 2 cents, and I'm gonna let Anthony jump in. But from what I understand, this star is pretty much in our galaxy. It's a little less than 200 light years away. That they'll round it off and say 200 light years away, but it's like 190 light years away from Earth. Um, and from my little bit of research that I tried, what I could comprehend is that it was probably a result of a dwarf galaxy that got gobbled up. Remember we talking about we're going to do a show on galacto evolution, and we talked about mergers and collisions and galactical cannibalism. Well, yeah, the Milky Way ate up this dwarf galaxy, and so this star has been sitting in the galactic halo. That's interesting, right? The galactic halo is the outskirts of the galaxies, and you're gonna find a lot of stars, or if they're still alive, they're gonna be around 12 plus billion years old. The reason why we wanted to bring this up in Space Age African Saturday School is because I feel like this show also, we're going to have some fun and deal with some of the anomalies in
Mhm.
astrophysics, and deal with the quote unquote scientific discrepancies. Okay. The
Yeah.
discrepancy here is, I'm gonna let you go ahead and holler at the people about that, and I'll jump back in later.
Well, it's. I just want. I mean, you flowing, Miss Juju, so I don't want to kill it.
No, you
I just want to
good.
say this part. This is something I always, speak about. Answering questions and dealing with questions that we have that need answers for. That I'm sorry to say it, no disrespect, but the ancients didn't know this stuff. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because, and it's not because they weren't smart or intelligent. It's because they didn't have the tools that we have today. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mhm.
they were basically dealing with their natural, quote unquote, real world at the time. So we're not knocking them. We're standing on their shoulders. We're
Mhm.
advancing, what they started. We're building on the foundation. But we're using us as pseudo killers. We are presenting the experts with the information. You know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned the other night, Miss Juju, when especially with the space.com articles, they
Mhm.
have a link to the actual papers within the
Correct.
articles. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's all we're doing. You won't hear me or Miss Juju or anybody in the pseudo killers claim that we know something that the people in the field that are doing the work don't know.
Correct.
That is just crazy.
Ludicrous.
That is
Absurd.
crazy for people to even think that way.
Wild.
So I mean, how are you gonna overturn an expert from your living room on YouTube?
Right.
Explain that to me, and then we can get into the other stuff.
Oh,
You
goodness.
got people that are out there actually doing the work,
Mhm.
on the ground, doing the actual work, and you know more than them. Oh man, that is just retarded. You know
Retarded.
what I'm saying? That is willfully ignorant. That
Yeah.
is crazy. So with this show today, like what we're presenting, these are questions that need answers. And hopefully Miss Juju and myself can encourage or influence some of you to get your children involved
Right.
and get them to understand how or get a foundation or a basis of how to research and help get them into these fields so they can help answer some of these questions. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sitting at home behind your computer screen claiming to know what you don't even begin to understand what you don't know about what you claiming you know. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? That
Wow.
is just crazy to me. So y'all tune in. We're gonna be doing this every Saturday. But
Hmm.
like I say, we're digging into the questions now, you know, because everything in astronomy and astrophysics, cosmology, it don't add up.
Right.
It don't. You know what I'm saying? But there are steps and strides you can take to get the understanding to why these things don't add up. And that's what we're gonna be diving into today. I'm sorry, Miss Juju, I went a little long, but you know that's a
Nah,
touchy
you
subject for me.
good. You go as long as you want to. I'm telling
No,
you,
because overturning experts, man, that is crazy to me.
just wild. And I know some people may be a little upset um dealing with the other issue that we deal with. I don't even want to mention it here. And they may feel some type of way. And sometimes I think it's personal, and that's okay. That's between y'all, you know. But what I want to say, we are pseudo killers. So if we don't address certain things, and we're not doing what we set out to do, and then that's to um, point out pseudo information and then help people understand the correct information. And by helping, it's and I know Cedric is going to get on this soon, but embracing what's that methodological word he always use? Somebody type it in the chat. Yeah, it might be a little too early for me, but to point out logical fallacies and to deal with correct methodology, to deal with how to properly vet sources, to deal with how to actually pick out sources or entities that are scientifically sound, right? Um, all those things so you know that yes, thank you, Mr. Bitterman. Mr. Bitterman, you are at the front of the class, and I have a treat for you at the end. Okay, thank you very much. You've been listening. I'm so proud of you. I'm not gonna do that all the time, y'all, I promise. But no, methodological naturalism. But yeah, to sort those things out. That's what we do. But the most important part of our platform is to actually bring you an expert in the subject to tell you about it, to talk about it. Um, and no, w- 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 we're gonna do our very best. And I say it like that because if we're not perfect and we make mistakes, we're gonna own up to it. We're gonna say so. But no, we're gonna attempt to never appeal to authority. And so that means that most likely we're just not gonna bring you one expert in that field. Well, we're gonna bring you a couple, right? So you can get a more clear or broad view of that subject matter from the expert's point of view. And that would be the best we can do, but besides doing shows like this and offering you resources to better your understanding of said subject matter. um yeah, so here we go. And again, like I said, Saturday school is going to be for a range of topics. So if you don't see Anthony and Juju here at Saturday School, you probably see Ken Cedric. You definitely gonna see Marcus probably here soon enough. Um, and just some of all the pseudo killers doing their thug
And
thizzle.
one quick thing, one more
Go
quick
ahead.
thing, Miss Juju. We what we're doing, like with this show, we're addressing, like I said, addressing a question, but furthermore, questions from you guys, because this was a question that was brought to me in the Discord by
Hmm.
Miss Valicia Bennett, our great moderator. She posed this question, so that brought on this show. So I want to thank you for that, Miss Valicia. Go ahead, Miss Juju.
Yeah. So go ahead. Please don't be scared. Hit the link. Please join us and let's have a discussion. Um, But in the meantime, we're gonna get back to the crunch of the show, and Yeah, this is Methuselah, the oldest star in that we know of. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say in the universe because we haven't, mapped out all the universe or studied all the stars. So that we know of. There perhaps may be one older. Um, and it's not so in it may be counterintuitive, but don't confuse the oldest with the furthest away.
Hmm.
Okay. Because I've made a mistake of doing that, and that's
We all
okay.
did. That's a common mistake.
It's the
I
common.
still make it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So we do have one that's farthest, but it's not Methuselah. It's the oldest that we know of as of
Hmm.
today. And yeah. Um this star is said to be, let me get some notes real quick, around 14 billion years. I'm rounding numbers. There's a lot about Methuselah. Um I'm gonna give you some data on her, but of course, y'all already know. Every source that I use or read for this show, I dropped it in the description box. Um, for this one, a lot of wiki, because wiki does provide other sources, and it's the foundational information. I think it's important to have an understanding for this type of anomaly. Methuselah is a scientific anomaly, that it would be in that category. So this, one of the implications, and I know Anthony's going to get into it more, um, that this aging discrepancy or anomaly is happening is because it's a metal poor star. Um, it is a subgiant star, and from some place I read, it's in the beginning phases of going into its red giant phase. If I'm wrong, Anthony, correct me, because sometimes I mess
You
it up.
spot on right now.
Um,
You spot on.
so I told you it's about 190 light years away. They'll round it off and say 200 light years. It's in our galaxy. It's in the constellation of Libra near the boundary of Ophiuchus. And by the way, any of you born around November, December, you're probably Ophiuchus instead of Sagittarius, but I'll do that on another show for you.
Yeah, it's for all our astrology lovers.
Yeah, I'll do that on another show for you. But just to let you know, look into a fig because it's really interesting. Just for fun. But it is in the Milky Way. Its apparent magnitude. And remember when we talked about star characteristics and things like that, and how they do measurements of stars. They deal with the magnitude. It's a 7.205, so it can be seen with binoculars. So that magnitude is pretty, that's pretty bright. Okay. Um, it is one of the oldest known stars. Um, so some implications to this whole, uh, the older than the universe. A lot of times you're going to hear this argument from creationists or people who just go against the Big Bang, or don't believe in it, or want something to harp on. They're going to use Methuselah as their only evidence for this. Okay. Um, I was reading and there was some interesting concepts concerning the Big Bang. I don't know if I can find them. I'll try to weed them out for you, but I found it very interesting. Maybe I can find them on what people thought about it. They don't believe in the Big Bang, so they think the universe. I'll find it in a minute for you all. um, but another implication to this: not all scientists calculate the same age for Methuselah, and because science is not absolute, there is a range of plus and minus. So for people who want to go against the Big Bang, they're just gonna go with that one figure and disregard that space of ambiguity of that plus and minus. Okay, and there's a reason for that. There are some implications. One implication, it's a low metal star. The other implication, it has a lot of oxygen. So usually low metal stars are, okay, you have Population 3, those are the oldest. Population 2, they come from population 3, and then you have population 1. Okay, this star is considered a population 2, meaning it's not the very first stars in the universe, but it's a result of the first population stars, which are population 3. If that's confusing, sorry, but it goes backwards, counterintuitive. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so that's one thing about it. It has low metal. Usually, so population 3 stars. Like I don't. For the most part, we don't have any evidence of those anymore. They're gone. They supernovaed out. Okay. A population 2 stars, perhaps we still have a few. Methuselah's considered that has low metal. That's the nuclear synthesis part, and we'll get into that when we continue on the Big Bang series. Nuclear synthesis is this part where the star is producing metal. You get what I'm saying? Like, remember the elements of the periodic chart? But the other implication to this star, and this is probably where I'll end and let Anthony jump in and maybe give y'all bring up the Hertzsprung-Russell chart. Remember that? Is that it has a high oxygen content. Now, this goes against it being somewhat the oldest star because it was only helium and hydrogen, in the universe for a long time. Oxygen came later. So if it's older than the universe and has a lot of oxygen, the math isn't mathing. So if it has a lot of oxygen, that obviously had to be created during the time of the universe where oxygen was present, and that wouldn't have been at the beginning or before the universe. If y'all have any questions about that, put them in the chat. I'm gonna take a break and drop this link again. And if you want to engage in a conversation about this anomaly, hit that link. A frog just jumped in my throat. I'm sorry. If anything I just said was confusing, let me know. But that's pretty much the gist of, excuse me, take over. Got it.
Um,
That's pretty much the
let's,
gist of this anomaly we call Methuselah. Anthony, you can have it. I was giving it out.
yeah, that was great there, Miss Juju. That was great. So you're looking at this, they're taking their measurements and readings of the star. Okay, the composition of the star doesn't match the composition of the majority of the stars in our galaxy. So that's number one. That's one clue. Okay, when you look at the composition of the star, like Miss Juju was saying, the elements present makes it very old. It's um, majority hydrogen, helium, and they find a few trace elements of oxygen and iron. I forgot what else they said, but okay, that there tells us it's not a population 3 star because those are going to be hydrogen and helium with a little bit of lithium. This star, the age, they were saying it's older than the universe based off of that solely, the composition of it. Well, when they came back and reanalyzed, they started to find the other elements in it. So that kind of, dropped the age down a little bit. But it still wasn't matching up with what the cosmic microwave background presented. So, we had to do a little bit of more research into it and come to find out, there's different ways for different results for measuring the expansion of the universe, which has something to
Correct.
do with it, and also, like I say, with the composition of the star, finding those other elements, that turned everything over on its head pretty much. So we're in a spot right now where, you're trying to, figure it out. You're trying to figure it out. And if you go deeper into this article, they break it all down. I would love for y'all to actually get into and see how they break it down. And if you can, look at those other the actual papers that are, you know, presented in the article. But, like I say, to sum it up, we're still learning. Nothing here is absolute, but that discrepancy between the star being older than the universe, you know, it's it's impossible, but we're still trying to fine tune our I guess you can say, well, they're still trying to fine tune their methods, their mathematics, and I don't, I'm not gonna reveal the conclusion because I want y'all to go read it. I really do. That would, I would appreciate that. Just read the article that Miss Juju took the time to put in the chat, and you'll understand how and why it is so important for us to continue the work instead of trying to fight against those who are doing it. Let's raise ours because I'm gonna be pushing that, especially on this Saturday show. Us doing the work, just like we talked about with presenting the scientists. That's
Mhm.
our responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So y'all really, really need, well, not need to, I ain't gonna say that. I really, really wish y'all would dive into this article and and come back with some feedback on it. Because,
Correct.
I've read it several times, but like I said, I don't wanna tell you what the outcome is. I want y'all to find it for yourself. And for me, that's a little more gratifying than somebody
Mhm.
just telling me something. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Um, so I think my favorite article of all the sources I came about was the Big Think article. The article was pretty awesome
Yeah.
because it gave you all of um, aspects of this discussion of this
Hmm.
particular anomaly. It gives you a breakdown of the estimates done by different scientists. Um, there's one done in 2013, one in 2015, one
Hmm.
in 2021. Um, and so it gives you those comparisons. It even
And it
gives
takes
you,
that long. I'm sorry, Ms. Juju, but
no,
it
go ahead.
takes that long. It takes that long to get the data. And I think that's
Mhm.
one thing people are not privy to.
Right. It's not
We want
instant
stuff right
data.
now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the universe don't care. Period. So now you got to make it up. You know what I'm saying? So instead of trying to answer these questions, the pseudo will tell you that the Anunnaki did,
Right.
and you accept that. Okay, it was the Anunnaki. Really? That ain't enough for me. I'm sorry. That ain't enough for me. So yeah, it takes time to get this data,
Right.
but it's there.
So so for instance, um they call it the uncertainty, but this is the, that a range of um there's no absolute, so it's a range, right? So when they measure Methuselah, they'll tell you it's going to be uh, uh they'll say something like 15 point 15.25 billion years. I'm reading this right, but with the a give or take of zero point 0.8 billion years. So that can be anything from 13 billion years to 15 billion years. You get it? And most people who are, against evolution, against Big Bang, who want to go against it, will just automatically accept the 15 billion years without considering any of the implications, um, without considering, the point that the star has a lot of oxygen. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Without
Yeah.
measuring the science accurately, just jumping out the window. So, and that's why we want to do the show, to discuss the anomaly, but
Yeah.
also to explain to you the implications and that it's not as it seems. The star is not older than the known universe. It's just at this point in time, we're still dealing with, you know, making accurate measurements. Though we have approximates, we're still working on that. And that will improve with better technology and better data and better information. I
See,
mean,
that's why we have to have the tools. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? And this article is very prevalent. You know, when you read it and you really start to understand, you're not gonna find this information without the tools. And then at the same time, you're gonna see that there are more tools needed, you know, to get a clearer understanding. You know what I'm saying? And that's what science is all about. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? That's why I say I try to harp on the fact that these are questions that doesn't have answers that we can get our children involved in. You know what I'm saying? And that's for humanity. This is a human endeavor. You
Hmm.
know, this is not one person's science. This is a human endeavor.
Right.
You know, just like we discussed the other night, all the different space agencies on this planet, and they're
Hmm.
all working together. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? That's the only way we're gonna get there. That's it. That's the only way we're gonna get there, working together. Because, like I say, this is these are questions that need to be answered. And for Kung Fu Hebrew, this I know this star's name Methuselah was the anomaly named this because it is supposed to be one of the oldest stars, or is there any background to why? The name for most things, if you discover it, you can name it pretty much. So whoever named this star, they actually did name it because it's the oldest known star, they named it after the oldest character in the Bible. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So like if
That's what
I'd have
Kung Fu was
discovered the
asking.
star, yeah, if you discovered a star, you can name it Kung Fu Hebrew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's whoever discovers it actually gets to name it. So, but the story behind that, yes, that's why that star is named Methuselah. And
Yes,
I'm
it
not
does,
sure if it has
James.
a. It does. Oh, well, I'm not sure if it has a solar system or not. I'm not sure.
Well, it's kind of
I
in ours right now, but they say it's probably going to move out. Methuselah is very fast, so it's
yeah,
coming.
it's moving fast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's about as fast as a rocket, if not faster, from what I've been reading. But I think I explained in the beginning. You probably were a little late to class. That's okay. I'm not going to penalize you because you're one of my favorite students. I'm gonna stop with this school analogy thing. I swear.
yeah. Big ups to Zane. Big up.
Big of design, but she's in the galactic halo. You can actually
Mhm.
like see she's only like 200 million light years away from a no, excuse me.
No,
I did
yeah,
that
just
wrong.
200.
200 light years away. A little less
Yeah.
actually, about 190 light years away. So she's in the galactic halo of the Milky Way galaxy. But I explained
Hey,
earlier
you know something else, Miss Juju? That's where you find a lot of those globular clusters I was talking about the other
exactly.
night.
It said
Yeah,
that in the sources. She's not a god, but she's a so it's an implication too because she's what they call them a standalone star. I don't think that's
yeah. A
the
field star.
a filled star, meaning she's
Hmm.
not in a cluster. And those stars are usually particularly harder to get data from.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I was reading. So
It's
yeah,
hard to get that. It's hard to get that proper luminosity when it's
ex-
moving like that.
exactly because
You
she's
know.
moving so fast.
But
Um,
our sun is considered a field star. It ain't moving like that, but it's considered a field star because it's
mhm.
not in a binary. It's by
Not in the
itself, basically.
cluster, right? And it's not in a binary system. Binary system again is two stars or two
Hmm.
objects that are gravitationally binded by each other.
Yeah.
Um, did you want to go over the Hertzsprung Russell for the sake of this star or no? It's on
Sure,
you.
we can. I mean, it's all that's gonna show us is just that what they look like on the main sequence. And like you say, this is in the subgiant phase, so it's getting
Correct.
ready to make a change. But it has moved off of the main sequence based on the data that they have. They've determined that it has moved off the main sequence. Well, yeah, you can throw the Hirschsprung Russell up there though.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
maybe give him a little visual to
yeah,
the.
yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I still got it. But yeah, that's the Methuselah star anomaly, and I say anomaly because it is. But in a sense, it isn't, but it is. It's the oldest we know, but there are similarly old stars. Okay.
Hmm.
Also, so it's not the only one. I want to say that before I forget. It's not that there's
Yeah,
not, the only old or oldest star. It's the oldest that we know, but there are other stars that are close. Like I said in the beginning,
yeah,
in that galactic halo outside of our galaxy, they call it the dark zone or something like that. You have stars that are about 12 billion years old. Okay. So,
yeah. And
but
when you
go ahead if you.
looking at this, looking at this Hirschsprung Russell diagram, the main stream of stars in the middle, that's the main sequence. That thick stream there, yeah, all that, all the way down to red.
Oh,
Temperature,
yeah.
luminosity is graphed on this chart, and everything outside of it is the star that has gone through or going through a different phase. You know what I'm
Good,
saying?
good.
This one is going through is in the subgiant phase, so it's getting ready to switch over and start using something other than hydrogen as its fuel or source of fusion. Yeah, so it's getting ready to change. But like you said, the composition of it is what really got everybody kind of tricked up about the age. But it's hard to get that accurate age because of the velocity that it's moving through through space. I mean, it's moving pretty fast. But based off of this chart, it would fit on the top side, you know, getting ready to go into a different stage in his life. So that's what Miss Juju mean by subgiant. It's
Mhm.
moved off the main sequence. It's puffing up,
Mhm.
but it's cooling off at the same time. So
Mhm.
that's another, part that has to be accounted for in trying to figure out the exact age of it. But like I said, it's me myself. If you can't get past the CMB, then hey, you really can't do much about the age of the universe. So until there's some until the experts present a change about the CMB, I'm going with what the CMB say. So everything else gonna be wrong.
Right. I wanted to address this statement. I took it down. What up, Babylon done? Kung Fu, you said so like a hurricane. I would say no, more like a rocket. Literally. It's going
Hmm.
really, really fast. Okay. So um
Yeah, it's moving pretty good.
it's
It's
moving
moving.
pretty good. I just wanted to say that. And again, please hit the StreamYard. Come on the panel. Have some fun. Come outside and
Yeah,
play. It's recess. Come play with us. He said I was referencing the naming part. Hmm.
yeah, pretty much like a hurricane. Well, I don't know if. Well, now a
It's a little
hurricane.
different with a hurricane.
I think
They,
the hurricanes they have the names predetermined.
they do.
If
It
I'm not
goes by the
mistaken.
alphabet too.
Yeah, and it goes by the alphabet.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, But it's like, okay, Kung Fu Hebrew, you get you a telescope and you point it up at the sky and you see something moving across the sky. You report it. They go into their database and they don't see this object in their database. They're gonna ask you, what do you want to call it? And you can call it whatever you can name it after your mother, your father, your children, your street name, your elementary school, your favorite football team. You know, you can call it whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Now there are societies, astronomical societies and stuff that govern this. So I'm not sure if the rules have changed or how much, but last I checked, if you discover it, you get to name it, and you can name it whatever you want. I'm pretty sure something that's respectful, though. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
yeah, just that's usually how it goes.
I just want to shout out Gary. Thank you for joining us. I'm a
Yeah,
science
peace, Gary.
nerd. I know that's what you were trying to say, and love topics like this. Thank you, and we'll try to bring you more. And also, I want to shout out God Mine. What's up, fam?
Peace, peace.
Thank you for always support my our endeavors,
Yes,
Anthony.
yes. We
Yeah,
we do appreciate all of you guys.
yeah.
Really. You
Um,
know, this my lane. I get giddy when we get to talking about this stuff. And y'all questions and stuff that pushes me. So
right.
I love the interaction. I really do.
So ask more questions.
And it
Anybody,
ain't got to be about this topic. If you got
yeah.
something else, you know what I'm saying, we can jump on that.
For me, it
But
need
I
to be
got a
about
little
this
time.
topic because I got to study first. But y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead. Anthony love
But
it.
it
We'll do this for
but
hours.
it
Okay.
yeah, it has to be this subject though. You know, I'm not the best at all the other stuff that go on the pseudo killers,
And he's talking
but
about
you know, like,
astrophysics. You can ask him anything about
yeah.
astrophysics right now. But for me, just ask me about this star. Okay. Because I'm not ready, and I got it in my head for this subject on
Yeah.
astrophysics. I'm just clearing it up. But no, hit the link. If you just want to say hi, or whatever.
Hmm.
We like the interaction. What up, Lamar Pope? Um, but shoot, we right under an hour, and that's pretty much the information right there.
Yeah.
So
And
let's.
once again, I want to say thank you, Miss Valicia, for that
Mhm.
thought. You know, because that's what spurred this on. You know,
Yeah,
we
it
want to
did.
be,
It did.
yeah,
Yes, it did.
we want to
That's
be,
right. I was there.
you know, we want to be conscious of you guys and what you want to know. Because
Mhm.
you know, the shows that we do, it may not, you may not have questions on that particular show, but you may have questions dealing with the cosmos. You know, bring it. You know, we here. That's what we're here
Right.
for. You
And
know.
just and if you have any ideas about some subjects that you heard of and you want to know more about, drop it in the chat here or in the comment section after this show.
Yeah.
Okay, we always check it. I always check it because I'm always looking for that. Like, what do they want to hear? What do they want to know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
let's see.
go ahead.
Sawa.
Hmm.
What's behind the force that is pushing to start?
Pushing the
To start
star.
the pushing the yeah, okay, the star.
Yeah. That's
It's
what he means. What's behind the force that's pushing the star? And
yeah.
I'm sure he means the Methuselah star.
Hmm. I'm gonna say it's got a lot to do with angular momentum and galaxy merger.
Mm-hmm. The
It's like
galaxy.
Miss Juju stated earlier that it's it's thought that this star was taken into our galaxy through a merger with a small dwarf galaxy.
Yeah.
And
And the Milky
when
Way
you
ate
look,
it up.
yeah,
Both.
and they have two satellites that are located at the Lagrange 2 point that's
They
been
do.
there way before. That's what Webb is. And
Mm-hmm.
they've been there way before Webb. You have Hipparchus, and you have another one, a newer version of that called Gaia. But what
Mm.
those two satellites do, or those observatories do, is they map the stars in our galaxy. And Gaia is more advanced, so it can actually map galaxies, not stars within those other galaxies, but it can map galaxies and see how they're moving. But its its purpose was to map the stars in the Milky Way. So it's mapping all these stars, and it can give you a printout or a data set of all the stars that are pretty much moving in the same direction as everything else in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have other stars that are moving in opposite directions, and those are the ones that they feel are mergers. You know, like one of them, I think they call it the Sausage Galaxy,
Mm.
but it's a long stream of stars that are going around our galaxy and through it. You know, and you can see where the gravity from the Milky Way has stretched this other galaxy out. And it looks like just a line of stars. It's awesome when you get to looking into Gaia and Hipparchus, and you know you get to seeing that. So that's how they come up with the conclusion, or I don't want to say well, yeah, their conclusion is that that star, with the way it's moving, it has a lot to do with the merger and those processes that take place during the merging process, or the, you call it galactic cannibalism or whatever.
Yeah,
But
Galactic Can. I like that term.
yeah,
Ate it all up. Yeah,
but
boy.
every star that makes up our galaxy is not moving in the same direction. The
Mm-hmm.
majority of them are, but everyone is not. Like I said, with mergers and cannibalism and all that, you really have stuff just going all kind of ways. But the majority of the stars are going in the same direction.
Oh, I got a nice. How did I miss this? You have another question if you want to take that real quick.
Okay, I might have missed this because I'm. How far away is this, and what is the unit of measurement? Okay, this particular star is about 190 light years away. And 1 light year is the distance that light travels in that time period, 1 year. So 1 light year equals a little over what is it, 3 million miles, Miss
Yeah,
Juju?
3.6 million miles.
So that's 1 light year. So what you would have to do is multiply 3.6 million times 190, and then you'll pretty much get a distance, a
Hmm.
relative distance. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So that's how they do that.
we can get the measurement in parsecs. I can't tell you that, and that's another unit measurement
Yeah.
astrophysicists, cosmologists use.
Well,
Because
one parsec is 1 light year, if
one
I'm not
parsec,
mistaken. Or is it 3 light years? No, it's 3 light. I
I
don't
think
know. Let me
it,
look it up. I'm
you
sorry,
can
y'all.
look it up, but I think it's more like 3 light years because it shrunk the
Yeah.
data. Remember we talked about that? It was easier
Yeah,
for the
exactly. Yeah.
calculations in parsecs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, but this right here is an awesome diagram. I think I kind of explained it verbally. Remember, I told you this is still right now in the Milky Way. Um, but this is Ophiuchus over here. The constellation. This would be in the galactic halo. And this HD 140283, that's Methuselah. That would be your oldest star. This is the constellation Libra here in green. Methuselah is in red. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, and yeah, and some other astronomical bodies in here. I think this is a pretty awesome diagram visual. I haven't quite learned how to read these super accurately, though I have some idea. But I will get it, and yeah, y'all ain't gonna stand me when I do. But yeah,
Mhm.
but
And
this is
that you
a
see that
map.
the name, that HD and the
Yeah,
number.
That's Methuselah,
That
right?
just yeah, that states that that information comes from the Hipparchus data
Oh,
set,
yeah,
and then that's the identifying number. See, that's what I was when I was speaking on. Now you have astronomical societies who govern this stuff.
correct.
Okay, that would be the name that you would see. You wouldn't find, well, you would find Methuselah, but it would be in quotation marks up under this in
Right.
certain, you know, catalogs that you look in. But the person who discovered it or discovered it out of the data, that's where the Methuselah name comes from. This other identifier is the identifier of whatever society that governs that,
Uh-oh,
if that makes sense.
got it. Sunny South Dallas, God, a lot. I really don't know the latest, but we can definitely look into that and get back with you on the next Saturday School or the next Galaxy and Beyond show, and I will have that answer for you. And let Anthony know, because there's
I'm
literally
sorry,
so.
what was the question?
What is the
Oh,
latest findings of the James Webb Space Telescope right now?
hey, it's a lot. Yeah, that'll take a show.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But it's stuff coming in from Webb every day. I
Yeah,
mean every day. And now that it's been up there, what, 2 years now? Almost 2 years.
yeah, going on three. Are
The,
you kidding me?
yep, the data is pouring in now. And now you got there's a lot of work being done. Now they're just waiting to get the second set of data to compare before they start announcing a lot of stuff. But
Hmm.
there's a lot going on with Webb, and it's like I said, and that's for a time to come because this is a brand new instrument. So once
Uh-huh.
again, another reason to get our children involved in this.
Correct.
Let's get them off the video games and get them into this. You know what I'm saying?
Um, there was one part I was reading. I thought that the plank, forgot what it's called. I didn't want to mention. I wanted to find it. I don't know if it's was involved in. Never mind. When I find it, I'll tell you. I don't want to mess that up. See how I
Well,
do? I
yeah,
be like, don't even worry about it.
the
When I find it,
oh,
I'll
okay.
tell you. But yo, I have learned to be meticulous. Like I don't want to mess it up, so I don't be trying to, struggle with certain things unless I have the information in front of me and can give it to you accurately. See, that's what intelligent, smart people do. Instead of trying to make it up in their heads and just giving you wrong information. I'm just saying that's the easiest. That's the best way to do it. But I just want to say what up, Ronald Burke. You're a little late to class today, but still, we're glad to have you.
Hey, how you doing, Juju and Anthony? I guess I'll take my demerits for being
No,
late
no, I'm not
today.
gonna
So,
give you any demerits.
yeah,
Just the first day of school,
okay,
so we're
I
just
appreciate
gonna
that.
be chilling.
Appreciate that. But
Yeah,
great show,
yeah. We
great
welcome you
information,
there, bro. We
and
we we we
enjoying.
welcome you there. Late or not, we glad you're here.
Yeah,
Appreciate you showing up.
Well,
exactly.
thank you. I do have a question though.
Absolutely.
So I didn't catch the whole show, but the part that I did catch when I was able to get tuned in was I think you mentioned that this star, this Methuselah star,
Mm-hmm.
some calculations about its age puts it older than the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then my question then is, are they still trying to refine those calculations, or
Yes.
uh, it seems like there's some things
Oh,
they're still trying to refine, right?
of course. So they're constantly taking measurements of the star, and
Hmm.
like we explained, it's a filled star. So
Okay.
sometimes the data is a little bit harder to
Hmm.
get from these type of stars, but also a lot of times, you know, I'm gonna say this, and I said it before: creationists,
Hmm.
people who are against evolution, or even the start of it, which is the Big Bang, will use one part of the data and jump out the window with it. So usually when they give you an age for the, well, in science, particularly in astrophysics, they're not going to speak in absolutes. So they're going to give you a range for the age. So they're not just giving you one number. So they'll say something like, 14 point, 28 billion years, right? But
Mhm.
it'll be minus or plus zero point 0.8 billion years. So that's a range. That's like that's a big range in time for those numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That that
yeah.
that will, so I made that up. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But on the Big Think article, they gave a number of 13 point. Let me see if I can find the rules quick. Point some numbers, and
Mhm.
then 13.65 and 15.25
Okay.
with a difference of plus or minus 8.
Hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yes,
again,
yes.
that
Mm-hmm.
star is one number, a billion, almost 2 billion years less than the beginning of the universe, and then
Hmm.
another number, it's a little over a billion years older. Okay. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have different calculations. You got a calculation. I think this goes back to, I saw something where I said 1950, but we know that we had a one in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
2015, and 2021. These are like some of the recent calculations for this
Okay.
star.
Yeah.
And they're
Another
all.
uh,
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
before, and another implication is, again, we spoke about in the beginning. So this star does not have a lot of metal. That's one of the implications for it
Hmm.
being really old.
Hmm.
But another fact is it has a lot of oxygen. So if you take the point that it has a lot of oxygen, it could not have been at the beginning or before the start of the universe because there was no oxygen, right? It would have to be
Nope.
some, it would be sometime later when oxygen started to form in the universe that this star came to be because it has oxygen in it. So that's why we say it's an anomaly, and you just can't take parts of the data. You have to consider all of the data. That makes sense, Juan?
Yes. So what you're saying though is that that upper limit of the calculation, they don't think that's going to be true, right? They don't think it's going to be 15 or 16 billion years old. Or do you? I mean, what would happen then if they refine the calculations and if it was 15, 16 billion, would they necessarily? I guess they wouldn't necessarily have to push the age of the universe
No, because you still
further.
have the cosmic microwave background that
Hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
a clear stop. So Anthony's finna jump in
Okay.
a minute,
Okay.
but again, these are estimates, and
Hmm.
again, you have to consider all the factors.
Sure.
And again, one more thing that
Hmm.
you have different scientists or different space agencies that are getting different numbers. So what I'm saying is like you cannot put a definitive on it if the majority cannot come with a consensus.
Right.
It would still be a work in progress.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
See, Ronald, it's one of them situations now where okay, the consensus, the current consensus is has been challenged and challenged with credible evidence.
Hmm.
But the current and what we got to remember is the current consensus was set back in the 50s. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Back in that time, they really couldn't get the correct measurements of the star. They knew it was old because of the abundance of helium and hydrogen. So they knew
Hmm.
it was old. But as time goes on, your methods, your tools, and your methodologies are refined. So now you can get better data.
Okay.
So as the better data started coming in, they started finding iron and oxygen, as Miss Juju um, is spoken about. You know, a little bit of iron. Um, so now the consensus is being challenged. Well, this star can't be that old because of what it's made of. what composes it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we have to start adjusting the dates. And
Okay.
then on top of that, that's where you have that plus or minus so many years, to give you room to work with. Because we say it all the time, none of this stuff is absolute.
Hmm.
And it's gonna take us humans as a collective to get to that. But it's gonna take time and we have to build on it. And this is a clear example of that. Like I said, the consensus was pretty much set in the 1950s. It's 74 years later. You know what I'm saying? We're moving away from that consensus because of the evidence and the data that's being presented today. And
Okay.
and it's like I say, this is a very good article. If you really, I really want y'all to look into it. I'm being stingy, because I want y'all to look into it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of stuff going on in this article that that makes it clear. You know what I'm saying? That brings it all together and makes it clear for you. So
Right.
just really, really look into that article, man.
Okay.
If y'all
Okay.
can, please do.
We'll do.
Yeah, and of course, you don't have to search for it. Just go in the description box after the show and pick what you like. I got some wiki stuff for foundational, but Big Think did a really good article on the Methuselah, and of
Hmm.
course, NASA and space.com I got in there for you, okay? But the Big Think was definitely my favorite because I think it gave some background on why the why the anomaly has garnered so much attention is not necessary. It doesn't necessarily have to deal with the science. It more or less has to deal with people that are trying to disprove, evolution or the Big Bang. You know what I'm saying? So they're
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're only taking parts of the data again and running with it. So, you know, it's the
and that's a
oldest.
good angle. That's a good angle you brought there, Miss Juju, because I didn't
Yeah,
even think about that. But
yeah.
that's a great angle, and it just lines up perfectly with what we do, what we want to promote. I
Mm,
mean, big ups to you, Miss Juju. You did
thank
that. 'Cause like I said, I didn't even think of that angle. You know what I'm saying? But that's a great point and a great angle to take with this information. So
Yeah, but it
yeah.
seems obvious because if they were being fair about the data, they wouldn't
Hmm.
skip steps, right? They would tell you that
Yeah.
there's range. There isn't just an absolute figure on the age, right? They'll tell you the
Hmm.
implications of it being a population two star. They'll tell you the fact that this star has lots of oxygen. Oxygen was not present at the beginning of the universe and at the early stages of the universe. Okay,
No
so
oxygen. You don't find it.
um, you have to figure in again all the variables to make a sound judgment on the information. And honestly, the judgment would be that this is still a working scientific endeavor. That
Hmm.
would be, from what I'm reading, from what I'm gearing at what the experts are putting down. That it's still working. There's no consensus on the age. You have different figures for it, and they're still studying this star that's moving at the speed of a rocket or faster in the galactic halo of the Milky Way galaxy.
So is this the only star that has the same anomalous
N-
uh, age of its birth, or are there other stars that are similar that they still have some anomaly that, in other words, the stars that are just as old from their calculations, plus or minus um, some
Yeah.
number, but
They
they
they found several, but this is
okay,
the oldest of the ones they
okay,
found. But they're
okay,
all, pretty much close.
Okay.
But the thing, like we said, it's still up in the air. You know, those measurements that set the consensus, like I say, were done in the 50s,
Mm-hmm.
and with, you know, early techniques. The techniques have gotten better, the instruments have gotten better, and therefore, you know, the conclusions are changing and have changed though. Like I said, you get into this article, you'll see how many times it has changed on
Okay.
this one particular object. And
Hmm.
they investigate everything, the expansion of the universe, you know, all kind of stuff. You know, they investigate it all. You know what I'm saying? That we know to investigate. That's why I say it. It's this why I
Yeah.
love this subject because it's so many questions to be answered. And it's a lot of us here on this earth that can help answer those questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's up in the air though, Ronald. We
Okay.
right now that's the oldest one
It's
out
interesting.
of the group that they found.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love the questions.
Yeah.
It's all
most definitely.
good. Yeah, boy. But if you want to call it older than the universe, then you're gonna have to tell us where the auction came from. That would be my point. You
Yeah,
feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I get what you're
that's
trying
what
to
you
say.
got to do.
Yeah,
You
gotta
based
answer
off
some
of our
questions.
understanding, you got to answer that question.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if this star is older than the universe,
Mm-hmm.
how did the star get the material to form itself before the universe was there for this material to form? You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
the kind of loop you're gonna get yourself caught up into. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say look into this. This is deep. It's deep. It's really
Yeah.
deep.
So that's why
And
we
Well,
call it the Methuselah anomaly, because
hmm
there's some things, like the star is counterintuitive itself, like it
so
does.
yeah,
so the scientists are pretty fixed on the age of the universe. In other words, they're saying that the universe is by consensus 13.7 billion,
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah.
there's no changing that
Well,
to make it
that
older.
and 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 that number, Ronald,
Hmm.
is basically based off the cosmic microwave background.
Okay.
That's where that number derives from, the CMB. And that
Okay.
was, like I say, that's the very first light that we can detect with the technologies we have today. Something better might come along later, but the CMB is, you know, pretty much that stop sign, and that's where they get that, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody know different, please teach me. But from my understanding, it comes through the CMB, that age.
Okay.
And let's see, Gary, is this star big enough to eventually go supernova? I'm not sure. I know they say it's in the sub-giant phase right now, so it's actually changing. Um, but I don't know. I hadn't seen it posted anywhere if it's massive enough to go supernova or if it'll just be if it was massive enough to go supergiant. I don't know. I hadn't seen that anywhere. I don't know the mass of it.
But
So
it is in the subgiant, but it's in the beginning of its red giant phase, is
yeah.
what I was
See
reading.
if it goes if it's just if the mass is small, it'll be a red giant and just kind of fade away. But if it's more massive, then yeah, it will go supernova. But I don't know the mass of it there, Gary. I'm sorry. I don't know the mass. And Mr. Bitterman, the CMB is the cosmic microwave background. That is what is referred to as the first light, the oldest light that we can detect in the universe. That goes back, that puts the the detection of that light goes back to like 380,000 years after the Big Bang. Now that's a whole nother show about how they come up with that number.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a whole, well actually that's another series But yeah, that's what the cosmic microwave background is. It is the first detected radiation after the Big Bang, which dates back to 380,000 years after the Big Bang. Is that star the same age as the universe? No, that'll be impossible. Because, like me and I'm sorry, y'all, tongue tied. Like Miss Juju was just explaining, it can't be based off its composition. You have oxygen present. So, oxygen was not present at the beginning of the Big Bang. At the beginning of the universe,
Right.
oxygen was not present. All you had, and if y'all have that periodic chart that Miss Juju displayed the other night, if you look on that chart, you'll see at the very top the two number one and number two element, helium and hydrogen, they're in blue. They were created through Big Bang nucleosynthesis. That means the Big Bang created those elements, and all the rest of the elements on that chart came from some kind of event happening with hydrogen, because hydrogen is very unstable. It needs something to cling to. Helium is stable. It's a noble gas, so it's not looking for anything to combine with. You know, you don't find a lot of things in nature combined with helium because it's stable. It has the an even amount of protons and neutrons. It's what we call a noble gas. That's why it's at the far right of the chart. The elements at the far left of the chart, they're volatile. They're looking for extra electrons to combine with. Like that's how you get two hydrogens and one oxygen makes water, and you find water everywhere. It's very abundant. You know what I'm saying? Because hydrogen is looking for something to bind with, to form something with. So that's how we see that periodic chart line up. Hydrogen and helium, those were created in Big Bang nucleosynthesis. You don't find hydrogen and helium being created in stars. They are the fuel for the stars. You know what I'm saying? Hydrogen is the fuel for the star. So it was created out of the Big Bang. So there was no oxygen. There was none of the other elements were there. So it can't be as old as the universe. I know that was kind of long winded, but yeah, it can't be. Like Miss Juju been saying, not with that oxygen in there.
Before you go, I was trying to find it real quick, the one we always use, but I couldn't. But I found one similar because you know how you be rushing, you can never find it. But if you
You
can
want me to
see,
send it to you?
oh yeah. But I got one here. I
Well,
think
this
that's
cool. This is a good one here.
this one is the it's pretty much like this one. And the reason why I say it because it has a key. Well, it doesn't have the right key. I'm a send it to me real quick if I can find it. But I was trying to show you all is so they have the periodic charts that show stellar evolution, but also show the beginnings of the universe because you could that's how elements came about, either from the Big Bang or through stellar evolution or through human endeavor. That's your three main ways for the elements on the periodic chart. But I wanted to find it because he's talking about it, and so we can show you, you know and you can visualize the discrepancy of why you just cannot accept older than the
Yeah.
universe age for Methuselah. Because you have that is one measurement, and that measurement is not absolute. And I'm gonna keep repeating that. It's a range. It's a range from almost 2 billion years less than the start of the universe to almost a billion years more than the start of the universe. That's the range. All right. And then the other implications. It has oxygen. That's a major one. You cannot go past step signs, stop signs, and that's a stop sign. It has
I
oxygen.
just emailed it to you, Miss Juju.
Right. So there's no oxygen at the beginning of the universe. There's no oxygen in the beginning, at the beginnings of the universe. So just gonna have to accept that. Let me see if I can get it, and I can. This is our favorite chart. Let
Yeah.
me see if y'all can see that super clear. I'm gonna make it a little bigger if I can. It's not gonna let me get too much. Um, hold on.
Oh, that's pretty
All right.
clear. I think we can
Yeah,
see that
that's
pretty
good.
good.
So here
Yeah.
at the top, where you see the blue, there's actually three elements with the blue. Got hydrogen, helium,
Mhm.
and lithium. Lithium actually has a little bit of blue, a little bit of pink, a little bit of green. Blue stands
Mhm.
for, and this is why we love this chart because it has the key, right? Big Bang fusion. That's the Big Bang itself. Of course, you got hydrogen and helium um, during that.
Mhm.
Green is dying low mass stars. Got some lithium in there. And then the pink is cosmic ray fission. I gotta learn more about that. But that's how you got lithium. And these are the other the stellar evolutionary processes that brung about the rest of the elements. And then again, this is human endeavor, human synthesis, okay? Exploding massive stars, that would be supernova. Exploding white dwarfs, merging neutron stars, this would be a kilonova.
Mhm.
Okay. So, and we kind of did shows on both of these kilonovas. We did shows on the white dwarf. So, if you just want to visit some of the old shows of our galaxy and beyond to kind of get that background, you know, just take a little time to do that. I think I'm
Hey, that's a
missing.
good question now, Kung Fu
Oh,
asked.
thank you,
Because we
thank you.
did a show on a young lady. Remember that young lady you presented,
Oh
Miss
yeah,
Juju?
that um
I can't remember
Claudine.
her name.
I think her name is Claudine Patrice.
Hmm.
I'll find her real quick. Um, it's Tennessine. The element that she found is called Tennessine.
Yeah. And she was able to name that, if I'm not mistaken, right? Didn't she name that after the state she lived in or something like that?
Oh, why is it showing me
Or
some
was
kind
it
of?
the school?
It's the school.
Yeah. But I know that one, to answer your question, Kung Fu Hebrew, yes, an African American young lady, matter of fact, was the
Yeah.
one who discovered the element. And it was one of those that we knew was there, but they didn't have the metal itself, but they knew it should exist. And she did that. So, yeah. So
Um.
we did a show on her. Well, not a show on her, but she was presented in one of our shows by Miss Juju because we profile um, African or people of African descent that's making contributions in science,
Science.
and
Yeah.
that's because we always hear, well, it's the white man science. That is crazy. Science is a human endeavor.
I messed
Humans,
up.
you know what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to
Clarice.
do with no color or none of that. It's
Right.
humans.
Clarice Phelps is her name. My bad. I messed that up. Claudine. Did I say Claudine Phelps? I was almost there, but that's her. And she was a student when she found it. I think this is she wasn't even a doctoral candidate at the point that she found the element. So I think that's pretty dope. I will go ahead
Oh
and
man,
drop.
that's major right there. That's
Yeah,
major.
right. So I'm gonna go ahead and
That's
drop the
that's
article.
as our good brother Unc would say. That's that high level science.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
pretty
That's high
much.
level right there. See,
I'm
she
gonna
not doing her work from YouTube. You
no
know what I'm talking about? I guarantee you she ain't figured none of that out from YouTube. I can
boy,
promise
y'all
you that.
funny with it. Nothing. Um, but yeah, you can read that article on her, and yeah, um, that's why we are. That's why we have to. It's basically my campaign for 2024 to destroy, eliminate white man science. There's no such thing. Uh, especially
It's a
when
human endeavor, man.
the beginnings of science happened on the continent of Africa. And you have the first astronomical site at Napa Playa, and you also have the Ishango bone. I know a lot of people like to make arguments about that, but proto science, it is what it is. It was a tool of measurement. You can't get past it. Okay, so yeah, no white man science. I hate that term too. It irks me 100. Yeah, because it's so fallacious. So,
Yeah.
uh, shout out.
I
Oh,
was
Gary,
surprised by that when I found that out too, Gary. You know, actually it's the process itself that goes on in stars that creates all these elements that are on that chart.
correct.
And the way they do it, it's all amazing, man. It's all amazing in my opinion. You know,
Yeah,
that's why I
let's
get giddy with this subject, Miss Juju.
right. Let's go back to it because I think that chart is awesome. Like literally, you can learn so much from this chart alone. This and the Hertz Spring Russell. Remember, we keep telling you this is the first tool of any chemist and in some astrophysics. But the Hertz Spring Russell would be the first tool for the actual astrophysics. Um, yeah. Oh,
And like I always say, when you when you're dealing with science and you got good science, you can create charts and graphs from it that'll carry over, you know what I'm saying, in other disciplines. Like
correct.
this periodic chart, dope. It goes in biology, chemistry, astronomy, you know what I'm saying? And it all lines up. You don't have to make any changes for either one of those disciplines to use this chart. That's good science.
Correct. I'm gonna say Mongo, just hit the link and come on the panel and do your little duck dizzle. And Odio, I'm gonna need you to hit the panel so you can pronounce your name properly for me so I can stop butchering it. Please and thank you. Ronald, you have any other questions or anything you want to say before we count down to the end? Because unless y'all got any more questions, I don't know what more information we can give you. That's pretty much it for the information, but we're still here to dialogue.
Yeah, no more questions from my side. I'm going to go back and read the article that you guys put out. I think
Got it.
that'll be uh, very very interesting for me because then I can maybe formulate some because I'm always having questions, but
I
sometimes
know we
but
are.
sometimes you already know, right?
It's
So
Mhm.
all
sometimes
good.
but I don't want to belabor the point about the age of the universe, and so
No, it's
I need to go
okay.
I need to go do some research and see why this particular star's age. I mean, how could it, like you guys say, how could it have oxygen and they still calculate? I mean, I know it's plus or minus some
Mhm.
billion years, but they still calculate it to be more than the age of the universe.
No,
If it has oxygen, it seems like that calculation would put it lower than that, lower than
mm,
the age of the universe. I mean, even in
It's
plus or
it's
minus, even in a plus or minus, in other,
well,
mm,
like I
you know
said,
what I'm
you
saying?
read that article,
Yeah.
it'll bring you up to speed.
Okay. Okay.
It'll bring you up to
I'm
speed.
sure.
But
I'm
that's
sure
what
it
I
will.
want to promote. You know,
Yeah.
I want us to stop believing everything we hear and go read it for yourself.
Yep.
You
mhm.
know what I'm saying? Go read it for yourself. We'll what we do with the pseudo killers is we lead you to the experts. And in some cases we bring the experts to you. But
Yeah.
it's still a level of work that we have to do as individuals. that's gonna be there
Yeah, absolutely.
if you want that understanding. You know what I'm saying? So,
Um,
but once again, I do appreciate you, brother, because you always here. You always got some great questions, man. Always.
I
yeah,
just thank you guys for the opportunity. So I really appreciate you. Really
it's like
do.
our third
Peace to
couple.
you, Gideon Block.
What up, Gideon? To answer Kung Fu Hustles, yes. I'm Kung Fu Hustle. Oh my God, I need lunch. Kung Fu Hebrew. My apologies. Kung Fu Hebrew, yes, and that's why we put the. I'll show it again. That's why we put this up. This is. I'm not gonna butcher her name, so we're just gonna show
Yeah,
her.
that was the question that put us into all that, Miss Juju.
Oh,
That was the original question. That's why we
Clarice
went down
Phelps.
that road. Yeah.
Yeah, she did it. She did it way after that time. Okay, I saw Miss Lisa say that I forgot somebody question. I don't want to forget no questions. So you feel
Oh,
me?
I missed one.
No, she was saying I miss go up further.
Oh,
Dang, Miss Lisa. Juju, how far off is science and technology from making your background a reality?
oh.
Ah,
Hey, it's all right. You'll never know, huh, Miss Juju, until you tell them,
yes.
huh?
We ain't fired. It's probably already. It's a reality in my head. I mean, no, it probably already is a reality. You feel me? Shoot, maybe in the next few years when they start sending people up in space and stuff. So I don't know, but I'm glad you like it. You know, or are you talking about the red background, that deep space, that deep field, that Hubble background?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know.
Just wait till we get that one from Webb. Well, we got one, but it's
Yeah,
gonna get better with time.
yeah,
Because
boy. And every time I get better, I'm just gonna add some more visuals for y'all.
it was the Webb deep field. I think they only did it Hubble when they did the Hubble deep field. They did that for so many days. The one they did for Webb, which is the one we used when we did the show on Arendelle, the farthest star away, how they did that, they showed the gravitational lensing and stuff, and how they
Mhm.
were able to tell that's a star.
Yeah, the Arendelle.
That
That's
was,
the farthest.
like I said, that was Webb staring at one spot for 10 hours, and
Yeah, right.
and with the Hubble was staring at that one spot for like either 37 days or 57 days.
Wow.
So if you can get Webb to stare at one spot for that amount of time,
Hmm.
ain't no telling what you gonna see. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do the last demonstration though. I'm gonna get the deep field photo because I want to again reiterate um what we explained the last time. I'm gonna use this. Mm, oh no. Did it just take me? Um that ain't it. Britannica, you are wild. Sucks. Mm, that's not giving me the right image. Sorry, y'all. Let me try this again. Um, Hubble never fails. This is gonna give me the image. There we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this brief demonstration. I think we'll make this the last thing we do. Um, this is deep filled. This picture. There we go. Expand it. This is the deep filled picture. Remember, this has, gosh, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of stars, galaxies, other astronomical celestial bodies in this picture. This picture is literally, take a dime, hold it up above your head in the sky. You see the area where that dime covers in the sky is the deep Hubble deep field photo. Did y'all hear what I said? The area that that dime covers in the sky, as you're looking up at the dime, that spot that that dime covers in the sky is this deep field photo with hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of stars in that photo. That just is, that's every time I think of it, I am pretty much like, yeah, I don't have no words. I don't have no words. So that just goes to show how much that we are still learning, you know, how much exploration we still need to take on. And it doesn't stop, it doesn't end, it won't. We are at the mercy of the galaxy, the mercy of the universe. We have no control on what happens. And I tell people to be grateful. We're at the mercy of the sun. I don't know if anybody caught the warning, but we're basically in the midst of what is it, a solar storm, a solar flare. You know, basically hit the Earth, on its way to Earth. The National Organization for what's it? Let me find it again. I don't ever want to mess up this organization, but this is the organization that keeps up with all of this stuff. They measure the atmosphere and things that are happening, so we can stay safe or always be prepared. It's the NOAA. Let me get it for you real quick. But yeah, so along with all the weather we had, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, along with all the weather we had on Earth, we had a somewhat of a solar storm that sent a solar flare that actually had the ability to affect us. So yeah, we're always at the mercy of nature, of the universe. Remember that. You know, just remember that. Any final words, Ronald Perkins?
No, great show, great information. I'll go back and catch the first part, but you guys do a great job. So I just appreciate what you do, and it's making me jump off the Egyptian
You're
discussion.
not
I'd rather
supposed
be.
to mention that
No,
word over
no, I'm
here.
just saying I'd rather be in the spaceship going
Right.
around low Earth orbit and then
I
being
got plenty of
going to the
space.
star. So
I
yeah,
got
so
plenty of space. You feel me?
yeah, so I think this
Y'all
is a
come on in.
very interesting, very interesting.
Yeah,
So
boy.
thank you guys. It's
Yeah,
good
that
Saturday
Space Age
afternoon.
African spaceship is nice. I'll show y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a tour. I show y'all one room at a time. I know y'all
Okay.
saw I saw my spaceship bedroom, you know, the other day. This is the spaceship living quarters right here. I think this is like the lounge area. It could be whatever it want to be. But yeah, I'll show you some other parts of the spaceship. We got a nice
Sounds good.
spaceship. Oh
Sounds
yeah.
good.
Yeah, you're welcome here anytime. Hey,
Anytime, my brother. Anytime.
yeah, Anthony, you got any final
Hey,
comments?
I'm gonna say it till I can't say it
I
anymore.
know you are.
When you scientifically literate, they can't drag you down to their level and beat you up with experience. So y'all have a good weekend. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Once again, appreciate all the support, all the cash outs, everybody with the cash outs. We appreciate it. But most of all, we appreciate your presence. You know, so get
Yeah.
this information out there, man. You know, help. Let's help educate humanity. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a human endeavor. Living a better life on this planet and understanding the natural forces at play, that's a human endeavor. So let's do our part and contribute to it. So, peace.
Peace, y'all. Next
Take
time.
care. Peace, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Look, smart chick dumb. Say she wanna smoke, baby, roll one. Oh, you can't roll, baby, pack one. We gon' keep smoking till the sack done. Oh yeah, hella chronic and my hyperbolic. Time chamber, yeah, I'm feeling brolic like Goku when he fighting Broly. Peppermint green Maserati. What I'm trying to get, I know God got me. God center, yeah, I'm God body. I'm a pothead up in Potter's house. Glasses on, trying to spot a hottie. No Suwu, blue Denali. We was 4 deep, me and my crew from college. Running through, boy, I called it Charlie. Gangsta like opponent got it. Up early with the birds. See, I'm really trying to get this thing moving. See, the money playing probably seem Jewish. Got the upper hand, got the theme music. Got the Dapper Dan jean stitch. Dripping water, yeah, it seem fluid. You a Kappa can't snitch. Self-esteem foolish, really need improving. Let me show you how to do. Ain't no carbon copy, ain't no duplicate. I control minds 4 states away. Get the party popping for my crew and fresh out the shower, yeah, pimp coat be my bathrobe. I ain't new to this. Taking flights and catching Uber. Blowing kisses to the stewardess.
Good weed too strong. Got a bad her too long. You can fly like 2 Jones. Never leave the house without the too long. Need a new coupe with the roof gone. One for me, one for mama, need 2 home. Never leave the house without the too long. Never leave the house without the too long. Yeah, good weed too strong. Got a bad her too long. Young fly like 2 Jones. Never leave the house without the too long. Need a new coupe with the roof gone. One for me, one for mama, need 2 home. Never leave the house without the too long. Never leave the house without the too long. Yeah, good weed too strong. Got a bad her too long. Young fly like 2 drones. Never leave the house without the too long. Haters cut it out like a coupon. I'm on top of the green like I'm a crouton. My young told me get a hand bone. I told him that I'd rather had a cube on. Listen. Hey, it's been a good day. I had to put that ice cube on. Got a bad looking like a cube on. Smoke a big whistle like a cube on. Keep winning, y'all lose on. You know if it's me, it's you, homie. Cross me, I'ma get my Uncle Drew on. You know murder is an art, you get Drew on. Me and Q-type get 2 bones. Smoke a whole 56, 2 zones. One for me, one for mama, need 2 homes. Try to stop, get a tombstone. Get ghosts just to see what you poo on. More kids in the mouth than a group home. As a kid, all I wanted was a coupe on Dubs just to pull it off the lot with the roof gone. Good weed too strong. Got a bad her too long. Young fly like 2 Jones. Never leave the house without the too long. Need a new coupe with the roof gone. One for me, one for mama, need 2 homes. Never leave the house without the too long. Never leave the house without the too long. Yeah, good weed too strong. Got a bad her too long. Young fly like 2 drones. Never leave the house without the too long. Need a new coupe with the roof gone. One for me, one for mama, need 2 homes. Never leave the house without the too long. Never leave the house without the too long. Yeah.
Can you feel it? I can feel it.